Teenager Shiinya Kazuya died while saving young girls from an attacker, only to find himself reincarnated into a world of swords and magic. It was a dream come true. Though he remembers his life and knowledge of Earth, he is now Cain von Silford, the third son of an aristocrat. Being granted the protection of the gods on his 5th birthday turned out to be too much of a good thing for Cain. His stats and boosts are so powerful, he must hide his real abilities to climb the ranks of society as he descends into the darkest dungeons. The ultimate isekai adventure begins as a teen-turned child is trapped in a beautiful kingdom he didn't create, but might one day rule. Kazuya walks to the shop glued to his phone for a late-night snack. His attention is drawn when a group of customers jet out of the shop in a panic state. 2 girls run into him, knocking his phone out of his hand. The reason for the hysteria becomes apparent when a man comes out swinging. A knife Kazuya turns to Ron, while also asking the girls to do the same. He pauses and pivots to find them still on the floor, frozen in fear. The assailant threatens to end them both as he dashes toward them. Kazuya sees this as a time to show some backbone and tackles the attacker, stopping him in his tracks. He turns to order the girls to 10 toes out of the area, but he stops mid-sentence when he realizes that he's leaking. The assailant gets spooked out and flees the scene as the girls rush over to him, crying as the life leaves his body. Kazuya apologizes for making them cry. As the noise from the sirens fades, he wakes up and doesn't recognize the ceiling he's looking at. The guy then sits up wondering if he's at the hospital. He thinks he's in a fancy room as a reward for helping the girls, as he pans the room. His eyes lock with Sylvia's, who excitedly calls him Master Cain as she rushes to hug him. A lady claiming to be his mother also hugs him to his confusion. He looks over to the giant mirror next to the bed and doesn't recognize his reflection. He then begins to panic, running around the 2 ladies hold him, asking if he's okay. He continues to panic, wanting to know who that is in the mirror. They manage to calm him down as he opens and closes his hands to make sure that this is his new body. The women are still worried as they ask if he's alright. Sylvia speculates that he must be confused since he has been asleep for a week. His mother checks his temperature and comments that his fever has gone down, but suggests he rests a little longer. She guesses that he must be hungry, so she ordered the maid to get some soup for him. Now that he's in the room alone, the guy figures that he has been reincarnated just like in the light novels. This means that he didn't survive in his first life, but he finds solace that he saved those girls. He decides to check his surrounding first till he is interrupted by Sylvia, who brings the soup. He really enjoys it and can even taste the vegetable tables and meat flavor in the food. He tries to fight the maid off as she goes to put him to bed, but during that time he gets a lot of his questions answered. His name is Cain von Silford, and he is currently 3 years old. His father and mother are called Garm and Sarah respectively. He has an older sister called Rain and 2 older half-brothers, since his dad has 2 wives. Some will refer to him as a high-value man, whilst others will call him a city boy. His father is a high-ranking noble with an army that is tasked with protecting the borders of S-Fort against foreign invaders. There is also a forest nearby full of monsters that they have to be wary of. King gets excited when he hears this. However, they don't have to worry about it, because the adventurers defeat the monsters as their job. He asks if they fight with swords and magic, which Sylvia confirms. This gets him even more excited, as he also wants to try using magic. She informs him that he has to learn how to read and write first, so he begins to study. Kazuya has decided to live up the rest of his life in this world as Cain, since in his old life, he recently only lost his grandfather, who was his last relative, so no one will miss him and he has nothing to miss later on. His father is surprised to hear that Cain can read and write at such a young age. Rain even adds that he can do math, but they don't know that he has the mind of a high schooler. His mother comments that he might be a genius, but Cain passes the attention to Sylvia, stating that she's a good teacher. His praise makes her almost cry. His dad is interested to know why he decided to study. Suddenly his mother also notices that he has been different since he recovered from the fever. Cain just explains that he's trying to learn all he can about the world. His father finds it to be very admirable because he can't leave his estate to him, so he thinks it's a good step for Cain toward making his success in life. Seeing that his father is in support, he pleads to be allowed to read books on magic and the kingdom's history. His dad grants his wish. His mother is happy that he's interested in magic, but Rain points out that he's not ready for the yet, since he has not reached the age where he will get baptized. Their father agrees on that point, stating that he will need to wait till he turns 5 before he can practice, but for now he can start studying the books. As Cain studies, he's surprised that he can use magic as he creates fire, but he quickly hides it. When Sylvia suddenly walks into his room, he doesn't understand why he can use it at such a young age, but he's excited. The lad tries again but overdoes it with the intensity, forcing him to shoot it out of the window. He quickly shuts it off when the maid and his sister walk in. He is certain that Rain saw him, but she has only figured out that he has been studying about the outside world. She notices that he's interested in the topic, so she decides to teach him more by stopping by his room every day. She taught him about the 300-year history of the kingdom and the different races which comprises of the elves, dwarfs, and beast folk. There are also fluffy things in the world hearing. All of this makes him want to venture outside. 2 years pass and the day of Cain's baptism has arrived, but he's running late. The boy apologizes for keeping his family waiting, but it was worth it because they comment on how handsome he looks. The family head out in their carriage as the normal people watching on. Cain also looks out excited, as it is the first time he's seeing the outside world properly. He asks his sister to show him her stats. After going through the ritual herself, she opens her menu and we see that she can use 3 types of elemental magic, but he avoids trouble by pretending that he didn't see the part that says that she adores her little brother. He changes the topic to her impressive stats, and their mother adds that Rain has level 2 protection from the god of magic. His father sees that Cain is a little confused, so he explains that magic and protection are attainable in levels 1 through 5. The higher the level, the more natural talent the person has. Their mother adds that protection is very handy because it determines how much magic is needed to activate a spell. It also affects one's skills. This protection is given by a god, which is all part of the Marineford faith, which is practiced in the kingdom. Some say the god wears a straw hat. The people dedicate their worship to the 7th pillar. Gods, the baptism ritual is to inform those gods that Cain has reached 5 years of age. As the whole family kneels before the 7 statues, Rain hopes that her younger brother gets bestowed plenty protection and magic from the gods. The priest steps forward to begin the ceremony. He opens a book and prays over him before officially informing the gods that he is of age, as he pleads that they show the path the boy is to walk on. Cain hears an old man's laugh as the place becomes bright. He is transported to the world of the gods. To his shock, he stands before the 7 deities who sit around a table. They have longed for his day and address him as Kazuya. This takes him by surprise, because no one told him that he would transport the main god. Xenom introduces himself and Cain comments on the old-timer, but he informs him that he can hear everything he's thinking. Xenom orders Rhyme, the god of death and rebirth, to explain his situation. She reveals that his death was unexpected in that, if he didn't interrupt the perpetrator, the guy would have tripped and would have been apprehended by the public. This makes him feel bad, because that means that his efforts were not needed. It also took him a lot of courage to rush out to help the god. This world was moved by his good deed and pled for Rhyme to reincarnate him into this new world. Rhyme blocked his memories through the nursing and diaper-changing state, because it would cause him too much mental torment. She apologizes because he was not supposed to recall his memories at the tender age of 3. Cain is okay with this, because since his memories came back quickly, he was able to learn how to write and use magic. He also has a happy and fulfilling life with his parents and sister, so he should be thanking her for leaving his memories with him. The god of magic likes his vibe, so she decides to grant him her protection to continue practicing. Xenom gives his next, and the god of war jumps on the bandwagon and gives his aid in his swordsmanship and martial arts. The god of technology also grants his protection, as he feels like there isn't much entertainment in this world, so he should conservatively use his knowledge from his previous life to progress things. The god of commerce gives his protection, allowing him to use the judgment and item box skill. Lastly, the deity of earth makes it a full house and explains that her perks are unique. He will come to know when he returns. He thanks everyone, just as Xenom tells them all that his time is coming to an end. He laughs as he sends Cain back. The priest comments that it's the first time he has seen the god shine with such brilliance. His father speculates that his son received lots of protection, so he asks Cain to show his status. Looking at the protections he got, Cain knows that it would be a problem if he is to show them, so he pretends that his stomach is hurting to get away. For now, he hides under one of the shelves and opens his status privately. Even he is shocked by the numbers and is glad that he didn't show it to them. He has level 10 for all forms of magic, military and martial arts, as well as item box skills are all at a level 10. He has protection from all the gods at level 10 to 2. The guy wonders what the gods were thinking when doing this. Based on his dad's explanation, he thought the highest level was 5. Cain now knows what Xenom was laughing about. The boy tries to find a way to hide these numbers. Luckily for him, the Xenom has allowed him to create magic and hints that he should use status, conceal, Cain, and meaning really activates it. He later joins his family for dinner and apologizes for keeping them waiting. He tells them that he's feeling better before his dad makes a toast to celebrate his 5th birthday. His mother comments on the light at the baptism and what it could mean. She has never seen it happen to anyone else, but reminds his father, who asks Cain to show his status, and they are shocked by what they are seeing. Despite him concealing the majority, his father Garm can't believe his magic score of 344,560. Cain starts to think that he didn't activate the concealment properly. Garm notes that even palace mages only have about 10,000, and the scary thing is, the boy is only 5. The surprise doesn't end when he sees that he has the item box and judgment skill too. His father states that, with these skills, no matter what job he chooses, he'll be guaranteed success. This is more than amazing, so Garm warns Cain to never show this status to anyone else. Although it is promising the kingdom could see him as a threat. One long move and you could be put under state supervision. Hime makes the 2 servants Seabase and Sylvia promise not to tell a soul after dinner. Cain goes to his room, wondering what is considered average stats. He finds a book on summoning magic and decides to go outside with his sister to summon a fluffy creature, but he calls a demon out. Instead, it goes to attack. His sister Cain gets a flashback to the final moments of his previous life and jumps into danger. Again, he tries to hit the monster with a fire spell, but the monster grabs him and pushes him. His will to protect his sister and her friend causes him to send the monster back. He crashes on the floor and loses consciousness. He wakes back to the girls, Joy, and he's happy that this time people are smiling because of his actions. He later gets presented at his debut to a crowd whose look on in awe. Cain gives a speech and reveals his wish to protect everyone by becoming an adventurer.